Hi Vinyl community, John here. Okay, so this is going to be, I think, the first in a short series of videos where I show heavy metal records. I said in my last video that I would make a heavy metal video, and I think I'm probably going to need to make a few because I've got quite a few to show. Kind of regret saying that I've got a few, unusual anomalies to show, because I'm sure they're not particularly that unusual to some of you that do collect heavy metal especially, but I will try not to show the sort of the mainstream things that you can buy over your local supermarket. You may notice that I've kind of thinned out my shelves a little bit. I kind of made a decision when I moved back to the UK, to Wales, from Sweden, was that I try and make a bit more space to the records that I listen more to. And I used to listen to heavy metal a lot in the past, but it's something that I've perhaps listened least to in the past few years. So I thought, well, I'll thin those out. I'm not getting rid of them or anything like that, I'm just sort of putting them a little bit to the side to make space for other records. Anyway, so listening to this is a compilation I've shown before called Guitar Masters. It's basically a compilation of people who do a lot of shredding. It was one of my favourites, and I always like to try and have something a bit instrumental in the background when I'm doing a video. Okay, so the records I'm going to show today are in no particular order. They're just a batch that I've brought back from my parents' loft, where they've been since I left England in 1993. And the reason why I'm going to start off with these is because this is really what's kind of spurred me on to make this set of videos about heavy metal, because I perhaps wouldn't necessarily show these amongst my other records. I don't know, maybe that's wrong, but I just feel that maybe they don't quite fit in with showing stuff from the 60s or the 70s. But anyway, so here we go. Well, the first record I'm going to show is it's like a 12-inch or a sort of a mini album or an EP by this band called Cauldron. Now, I understand these to be a German band, and I tried to find out about them, but there's not an awful lot online to find out about them. But I eventually did turn up some stuff, but yeah, they're kind of like a thrash band. I'm not so familiar with this label, but it's quite a nice record label there. So that's Cauldron. I think they only released this, I don't think they actually made a full album from '86. The next one is, many people know this, Napalm Death. Harmony Corruption. This was for me a real turning point. I bought this brand new, I think, way back when. On the insert there, just lyrics and stuff. I bought this brand new, thinking that, well, it must be good because people talk about Napalm Death all the time, and at the time I used to read Kerrang and Raw, they were rock magazines in the UK. And it was a turning point, because when I heard it, I got home and heard it, and I thought to myself, no, I've no longer got interest in that extreme of the heavy metal spectrum. And I kind of identified as Slayer's Raining Blood as being my maximum point. I don't go further than that. So I've had it for years. It's a first pressing. I probably played it once or twice. Probably won't be playing it again. Razor Baby, it's an American band. This is one of those records as well that I think to myself, why have I got this? Because when I play it now, it's quite nasty. Got quite a nice little label there. Heavy Metal America. But no, it's a bit too cheesy, a bit too AOR for me. Although I would have listened to it when I bought it. Vicious Rumours. It's on Roadrunner. It's like a speed metal band, I think. I don't know where they're from, but I suspect they're American. I've listened to that for years. Here you go, opposite end of the spectrum. This is Europe, Swedish rock band. Not really metal at this stage, is it? So this is out of this world, and yeah, I was never really into them, but I have this because it's red vinyl. That was a nice surprise when I got that. Yeah, like I said, the opposite end of the spectrum from Napalm Death, I suppose you could say. This was a British band, not really metal either, but they're a hard rock band, a bit dusty. It's a picture disc by a band called Little Angels. They were very, very young. I think one of the guys in the band was still in school or something when they made this. They hung around for a few years. I don't know what they're doing now. This is 1989. This came out. It's like a 4-track live EP. I never really did get into them. So, okay, this is 12-inch by a band called Tokyo. Listen to Your Heartbeat. You know, you could be forgiven for thinking that this is going to be kind of, you know, a kind of hard-edged band. You kind of got the big hair guys on the back, but unfortunately, it's really not. The label is GWR Records. Now they're quite AOR, a bit too soft around the edges for me. So this is a British band called Shy. I think they were sort of, you know, at the tail end of the new wave of British heavy metal. There's another 12-inch by them. So that was called Young Heart. This is called Break Down the Walls. This guy, I can't remember his name now. I think it's Tony something. With the sort of platinum white hair there in the middle. I believe he's still active. His name is Tony Mills. I don't know. This band doesn't go anymore, but I think he's still active in various bands. And then the last album I'm going to show is an Irish band called Mama's Boys, Growing Up the Hard Way. There you go. What can I say about these? Again, I mean, I think at the time when I listened to a lot of this stuff before, I was, you know, I was quite lenient with what I had sort of expected. But again, you know, these are quite soft. And don't forget, this is a time of, you know, Bon Jovi and that sort of stuff was going on. So there wasn't that same kind of need for speed. Although there certainly was a lot of sort of fast bands out there playing, and the heaviness factor, of course. I mean, yeah, there's that too. But otherwise, at the lower end of the spectrum, I mean, this sort of stuff was acceptable at the time, for me anyway. don't have an awful lot of time for it now. Okay, so the next one in this series, I'll start from A and then work my way towards Z or Z and show the records that sort of crop up in that order in the heavy metal section of my collection. Thanks for watching, see you again soon, bye.